Awesome. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome
Cool.
to the show. My name is Alex. I have a YouTube and Instagram Love Sugar show, and excited to talk about this album with you today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem. I do want to ask about your background. It's very unique. What kind of collection do you have going on?
I have lots of toys. Been collecting toys for quite a long time, and I also make custom toys and paint and do all sorts of stuff like that. But some of the stuff behind me is some mythic legions, and there's also some Godzilla Super 7 stuff and some Masters of the Universe classics stuff. And so yeah, I collect all sorts of stuff.
That's awesome. Well, normally the first question I ask is, how's everything going? Not just in your music life, but also in your personal life as well. Like, how's everything in your world?
Everything is going really good. I have a young daughter who is doing really well and has been kicking butt in her karate classes, and I'm very proud of her. And
Awesome.
yeah, I'm a proud girl dad. And yeah, I'm just happy to be back making music again. I had a little bit of a time off, a little bit of hiatus there, and happy to be back doing this again. And
Hmm.
so I got no complaints.
Well, how does it feel being back after like your little break?
It feels very good. Everything's there's new energy definitely, and everything's feel very healthy and much better than I ever did back in the day. And so it feels really great. And so it feels like right now that metal is really doing really well, and it seems like
Hmm.
the scene is just flourishing, and so it's exciting to watch, and it's exciting to be potentially a part of as
Yeah,
well. Um, it seems like since COVID, especially, that it just the crowds have been really coming out to metal shows, and so that's great.
I think people are just like, we know what we didn't have, and so, it's time to get out there and support artists now.
Yeah, yeah, and the metal scene. It's one of the most visceral. Like you're going out when you go to a metal show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's an experience. So I think
for sure.
people crave real things.
Yeah, I think so too, especially after COVID. So it's cool that metal's making a comeback as well. So for this album, which song was written first and how did you like structurally put it together? How did the creative process kind of come about?
The first song was probably Saturnus Rain, which that was probably the earliest riff that I had started working on from the album. And then almost all the rest of the songs were written in a pretty short period last year, over a week or two. And then what I do is I create demos of that stuff. And my drummer, Chris, lives in Seattle. And so
Hmm.
I was sending him files back and forth. And we ended up, he would fly here and I would fly out to Seattle to practice in person on this stuff, to work on this stuff. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was quite the process, but really happy with how the record came out.
Well, that's awesome. And I think that, now we have the internet, the like things like that are possible instead of, before it wasn't as easy, way back in the 90s. So when you started creating this album, what kind of came first? Was it a lyric, a riff, or a feeling?
Um, Usually it is either a riff or a rhythm, like a beat.
Hmm.
And so I kind of trade off in between. It'll be riff based, or a lot of times I will start off with a beat, and it will be very rhythm based.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of funny, different ways of songwriting, how differently, the song will come out in the end, you know.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's always been whatever just kind of is pops to me. You know what I mean? I've never tried to force myself to write something, and so if it's has to come easily.
And where do you normally get these ideas? Is it just like randomly, usually like when you're out? Is it like do you put yourself like in a studio based setting? Like where do these ideas generate
It,
from?
it was right here, right here. Yeah, like I said, most of it was over like a period about a week or so last year. It just seemed like a flood
Okay.
of this just kind of came down, and so yeah, sometimes that's how I've heard other musicians describe similar type thing. It's almost like a transmission that comes in sometimes, and so yeah, I don't try to force it. And so, like during that period, we put out a couple singles. There was a couple tracks, couple things, that I wrote during that period, which was about 16 years.
Yeah.
Um, but this was the first time there was like this full, complete album's worth that was sort of starting to come together in such a quick time. And so
Hmm.
it was surprising, and I appreciate albums being able to listen to something, all the way through, and that has, a message, or it has some sort of concept that you can follow through. And so, what I'm trying to
Hmm.
create is a listening experience, something that you might want to listen to the whole way through, not just,
Hmm.
especially everything's so track based now, and
True.
so yeah, that's what was kind of the intent, was to create an album, something that you could listen to front to back. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's 30 minutes, and so it's not doesn't take up that much time. You could do a workout to it,
Yeah,
and
that is very true. And what like message or concept were you putting in this album for listeners to hear?
well, the title track "I Hail I" is about Prometheus, and so the main message is from the album, I would say, is never give up. And so that's
Hmm.
kind of my overarching from kind of my life experience is getting me to this point. And so I kind of use that with these mythological stories. You know,
Hmm.
there's no Bible for Greek mythology. There's all these stories that were, handed down orally, and some were written, and some, and so it's amalgamation of all these different stories. And so it's kind of cool to use that pantheon,
Yeah.
uh, um, because you can kind of pick in and out of things that are these well-known stories, and then kind of create new things as
Hmm.
well. And so that's kind of also one of the goals with the band from the beginning, was to have something that sounded familiar and old, but also do something new, kind of new,
Yeah.
that sets itself apart. That's, that I would never consider us like a worship band where you could say, oh, they sound exactly like this band. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that was always a thing, as well as a goal when creating the albums. And so, yeah, I hope it came off that way with this one. But yeah,
Hmm.
lots of stories about Hades still, and um, Prometheus, and Apollo and Artemis, and of course, I had to put a couple monsters in there somewhere, and so
Yeah.
there's some bad guys.
Well, that's awesome. Have you also always been like, I guess, interested in like Greek mythologies, or is that like something that you just got into?
Yeah, I was always interested as a kid, and played Dungeons and Dragons, and listened to heavy metal ever since I was little. And so I was the kid playing D&D and listening to Iron Maiden in the '80s.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually just went to a D&D shop in Denver, and I saw all these really cool miniatures and stuff that I hadn't seen forever. And so, yeah, that kind of got me back in. I need to start get back in the miniatures again.
Yeah. I think it's crazy how some of them are so my friend paints them and he shows me stuff and I'm like, you painted that? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how? It's so small.
That,
They get,
yeah, I mean, painting the small stuff too. It's very relaxing, and that's part of it too. Is I'll put on ambient music, and you just get these really really small, fine brushes, and just really slow. These movements, breathe. It's nice, brings the blood pressure down. Just painting these weapons and blood and stuff, and it's very relaxing.
that's what he says. And I'm like, I would get there and be like, you know what? This is pissing me off already and just chuck it and I'd be done.
Yeah, if you don't have the patience for it, yeah, it's not for you. But if you really want to kind of just take a minute, yeah, and
Well, to
be
anyone listening, there you go. Here's some relaxation techniques that you get inside of an interview too. So two in one.
right. Oh,
So back to this album and just the creative process and the writing process. Do you feel like the band writes better in like chaos, or do you think you guys have like more of a structured type of thing going?
well, so far it's been a lot of chaos. There hasn't been much structure to it at all. Um, we ended up signing with Southern Lord very early. We had only played one show uh, this was back in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
We had played one show before we signed with Southern Lord Records, and so we really hadn't even had time to be a band and play a set of shows
Yeah.
and so that was quite a bit of chaos. We had our own section in music stores by that September. It was like we had signed like in April, and so it was we were already on tour that summer, and so
Yeah.
things happened really fast. And then we had contract to put out records, and so yeah, it was pure chaos actually. But some great things come out of chaos sometimes, and
True.
yeah, that was just the way those, especially the first three albums,
Mm-hmm.
were written and kind of molded together. And so, um, yeah, I'm not sure how a structure would work.
Hey, I mean, if it works, it works, right?
Yeah.
So that actually leads me into my next question, which when I was reading the bio for the band, I giggled because under genre, you're listed under heavy fucking metal. Do you agree?
Sure. I mean, sometimes it's hard to come up with one genre. You know, um, I wouldn't say we're doom. We're not exactly sludge. We're not exactly thrash. Not exactly death metal. And so we're kind of a mix of all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, we're kind of our own thing. A bit of a niche. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, and that's fine. I mean, from the beginning, I didn't think anyone was going to like the band, and so I have been completely blown away that anyone liked it.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate anyone who likes the band, and so
Yeah, I mean, I listen to it because the genre, I'm like, okay, I've never seen that. Usually it's like, doom, thrash. But,
mm,
when I listen to it, I'm like, you know what? That actually matches pretty well. It is pretty heavy. So I'm like, the genre matches up. and the album was really great. I mean, I love that,
Yeah.
you know, you could listen to it. Like, I had 30 minutes on lunch, and I'm like, okay, I finished the whole album on lunch, and I got to, I mean, I don't know, you know, if other people enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. And then I listened to it again when I was walking the dogs, and I'm like, this is a great album to walk to as well. I felt pumped. What,
Yeah, I think it is. If I may say, it's. I think it accentuates the music to be moving when you listen to it, and so sometimes, like especially in a car, obviously would be like the number one, but like walking, or on a bike or anything like that, like I've always found that it seems that the movement helps, but or working out.
yeah.
Uh,
I hate working out. So if I have an album that gets me going, I'm excited.
yeah.
So was there something that you tried in this album that you haven't done in previous things? Like anything new?
Well, we did a cover, which is the first time we're having a cover on the album. We did a cover of a song by Ethel Cain,
Hmm.
a song called "Family Tree" off her album "Preacher's Daughter." And I'm a big fan of her stuff, and I've been listening to her stuff for a few years, and um, considered her a inspiration. The stuff that she'd been writing while I was kind of snowballing towards this album. Uh,
Hmm.
she's got a lot of stuff online, a lot of demo stuff that's on SoundCloud and YouTube, and it's amazing. It's really good stuff for the way she writes, and so I was really inspired by her stuff, and so I thought that song really lended well to be metalized.
Yeah,
I'm not always the biggest fan of metal covers of songs that aren't metal, but
yeah,
I thought this is one of those cases where I thought it really worked well, and uh, like I said, the lyrics I thought went well with the story of the album, and
yeah.
so yeah, that was something new to put a cover on an album, and so
That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, I like how it came out though.
Like you said, I don't think every song's meant to be metalized, but there's just some that you're just like, you know, I feel like this was just meant to be.
Yeah, it's not everyone, but you're right. It's when it happens, and it sounds right.
Yeah.
It works.
So I want to talk about the last song. The last song's about 7 minutes compared to the others, which were around 2 to 3 minutes on the album. What made this song longer than I guess the rest of it?
Well, it's slower,
Yeah.
and it's about Tartarus, which is sort of like hell in Greek mythology,
Hmm.
and so yeah, I kind of had these riffs and had this vision of this song that was super doomy and hellish and kind of like
Hmm.
this soundscape. Like in my mind, it kind of is, like this huge place.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to sonically create something huge.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm real happy with how that one came out. It seems I've heard some feedback already about the album from people, and people seem to like that one. Seems to be a runaway hit.
Yeah. It's also good for a cool down because you know you do your workout, you're, you know, huffing and puffing by the end, you're like, okay, a cool down, thank goodness.
Yeah.
So, how is it having the album recorded and mixed by the bassist?
Well, we've been recording with Sanford since the beginning, and so he's sort of been like a, fifth Beatle, so they
Yeah.
say, and he's been a huge part of the band's sound, and uh, so him coming over and playing bass was very natural. Our bassist DJ, he's a teacher, and you know
Hmm.
he he needed to spend some time with work and family, and didn't really have time for all this nonsense. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah, it was a natural choice for him to step in,
Hmm.
and yeah, we're real excited to start playing with him. And he definitely has a lot of knowledge about gear and live sound that I don't have, and so he's definitely bringing that to the band as well, and so that helps.
Was it like kind of just like a natural conversation to kind of like ask him into the band, or how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, it was while we were still in the middle of recording. And we had talked to him before about playing bass in the band. Actually, we had talked about playing guitar in the band at a certain point, second guitar.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it wasn't the first conversation we had had with him about being in the band. And so like I said, he's been a big part of the sound and part of the band production. And so yeah, it's not definitely not like having a new person in the band.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like
Yeah.
there was already like something there. So it's not like, okay, new person, let's go. I don't know you.
Right.
So for someone listening to the album, what song would you say is like the heart of the album?
I would probably say I Hail I, the title track. It, I kind of feel like that was what I chose it as the first single. I
Hmm.
tried not to confuse people by having the title track be the first single that comes out, but
Yeah,
I thought it was an important first statement, to release that track.
for sure. And why do you think that one? Is it like the sound? Is it like a feeling? Or, why do you pick that one?
Well, I think it's that message and the sound and sort of the refrain, the I hail I, which is that like never give up, and
Yeah,
it's not a bad message to send out
for
to
sure.
believe in yourself and to never give up. And yeah, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because, sometimes you have to believe in yourself because sometimes no one else will. You're your
Yep.
biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
So, was there a moment during like the recording process where a song like started off as something but like completely changed by the end?
Um, there were maybe some parts that were a little slower that got faster. um, and yeah, there was a couple tempo adjustments. That was about it. And then some things we brought down a couple notches
Hmm.
because maybe it got too fast. But
So everything was used in the album. It was just a little like different changes, it sounds like.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I like to create a pretty thorough demo, using drum machine, and I record all the guitar and bass and vocals and stuff at here at my little home studio. And so um like to pre audio auralize the album, you know.
I think I'm just like thinking about when you said some things were too fast because I feel like this album is pretty fast, like really powerful, like energetic. And to think like there was something faster than this that existed is kind of crazy.
Yeah. um it is funny sometimes how just a few beats per minute will completely change the feel of a riff, of the beat, of the song, of everything. Uh,
Hmm.
and when you toy with that a little bit, what you can do with it, and it's like when you put all the pieces together, it creates its own thing, and
Yeah.
that's one of the major ways to play with it. And a subtle adjustment will could make a song sound very different, and so yeah, it's something cool to be able to toy with.
And for anyone watching the interview, what's next for the band? Any live shows? Working on a new album?
Yeah, I don't know if we're ready for a new album yet, but yeah, we are. The album comes out on May 1st, and so we are playing the Maryland Death Fest on Thursday, May 21st,
Mhm.
Nevermore Hall, and we are playing Moto Blot Fest in Chicago. It's a motorcycle fest. We're playing at the Ramova Theater with High on Fire on June 20th. And then we are doing a proper record release show at the Hideout in Chicago on July 10th. I said July 10th.
Yeah.
Trying to keep all this in my head, where we're going to do the whole album. Like we'll do the whole 30 minutes album and then play some older ones, stuff after that. But yeah, we wanted to do at least once, do the whole dang thing.
Yeah. That's exciting.
And then yeah, after that we're in talks with a bunch of different fests and some different shows.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, stay tuned.
And then I just have one final question for you here. Is there anything you'd like to say to old fans, new fans, or anyone interested in listening to the album or seeing you at a show?
Well, if you're an old fan, thanks for sticking around, seeing us through. I mean, even when we were completely inactive, I was, very surprised that there were these songs that were on these streaming things were getting streamed as much as they were getting, streamed, and some of these songs did better than they ever did and kind of caught their own life. And so that's been kind of cool to watch. And also, it's nice to have basically a whole different generation. These anyone who's younger, they would have been a baby when we were touring. The brunt of our touring back in the mid 2000s, and so um, that's super cool too. That there's these new people, and we look forward to meeting them. And if you're looking for some heavy fucking metal, we're you guys.
Well, awesome. For anyone who's listening to the album, you do have to wait because it doesn't release until the first. So sorry about that. I can tell you it was a great album. You definitely want to add it to your collection for sure. It does come out again on May 1st. I'll put all the links below so you have no excuse not to pre-order it. And it's called I Hail I. Good stuff and definitely recommend it.